Imagine you do not wake to the sound of an alarm. You wake to the soft light of a pale sun. It is a disk rising over a wall of tall, green reeds. The air is cool and carries the smell of damp earth and wood smoke. You are by a river. It is not just any river. This is the Great Nile, flowing wide and slow and brown. The year is not 2026. You are here, more than 4,000 years ago, in a small village of simple mud brick houses. The first sounds you hear are the gentle lapping of water, the calls of ibis, the calls of herons, and the quiet murmurs of your family stirring from sleep. This is the rhythm that begins every day. A child, your son perhaps, tugs at your hand. He wants you to see the small fishing boat tied to a wooden post at the river's edge. It bobs gently on the current, a silent promise of the day's work. A woman, your wife or sister, walks gracefully toward the bank. She carries a heavy clay jar on her shoulder. Her bare feet sink into the soft, dark mud left by the river's last flood. She wears a simple dress of white linen, and her dark hair is braided and tied back from her face. She smiles and shares a quiet word with a neighbor, also here to fetch the day's water. Life here is not a grand story. It is a collection of small, essential acts. The air itself feels ancient, thick with the smells of life, bread baking, smoke from cooking fires. You can almost taste the dust from the nearby desert, held back by the life-giving green of the river valley. This narrow strip of land, a few miles wide on either side, is your entire world. Water flows endlessly north, a constant presence that shapes every part of your existence. The Nile is the heart of your world, the giver of all things. Its powerful secret, the faithful flood that leaves rich, black silt, a calendar to live by. You walk with the men and women of your family toward the fields. The ground is dark and damp, still rich from the last flood. The Nile has left its annual offering of fine, black silt, a soil so soft it feels like walking on velvet. Here, farmers are already at work, planting seeds in long, straight furrows. They are growing the wheat and barley that will become bread and beer. They plant flax, which will be woven into the linen for your clothes, and onions, garlic, lettuce for the household table. The work is shared. Men and women labor under the warming sun. Even the children have their roles. A boy helps his father guide a simple wooden plow. It is not a great machine of iron, but a light plow, sometimes pulled by oxen, often by a few men. The work is slow, steady, repetitive, requiring patience and deep understanding. They do not rush. They move with the rhythm of the seasons. This connection is felt in sweat on brows and aches in backs. They are not just working the land, they are in conversation with it. A surprising fact you might not know, the Egyptian year had 3 seasons: Akhet, the flood; Pere, growth; Shemu, harvest. So reliable they planned lives, festivals, even state projects by it. The river was their clock and their guide. The fields are a place of community. Families work side by side, calling across rows, sharing tools, water, and news. A farmer helps a neighbor with a broken plow. A woman shares dates with a friend. Shared labor weaves a powerful bond. Their survival depends not just on the river, but on each other. Their prosperity is woven together, thread by thread. As you walk back toward the houses, you pass a shallow marsh where another harvest is taking place. Men stand waist-deep in cool water. Some use large nets woven from reeds. Others set conical traps like baskets. You see the flash of silver as a tilapia jumps, scales glinting in the morning sun. A young boy holds a small fish on a simple line, his face a mask of pure pride. Fish are an essential part of the diet, providing protein and oils. The smell of baking bread grows stronger. A woman kneads outside a small domed clay oven, shapes round flat loaves, and places them on hot stones. Warm bread fills the air. Bread is more than food, it is a form of currency. Farmers might pay taxes with sacks of grain. Laborers are paid in bread and beer. Beer is common, thicker, like a porridge, boiled during making to kill bacteria, making it safer than canal water. It is food, drink, and medicine in one. The family gathers for a simple midday meal on woven reed mats. Fresh bread, salted fish, sweet dates. A little girl chews a date, fingers sticky. They offer a quiet word of thanks to a small carved household god on a shelf. Religion is woven into every act, from drawing water to breaking bread. Unlike modern life's rush and packaged food, here nourishment is made by hand, each meal a ritual of care. A surprising fact, entire work crews, in fields and on building sites, were regularly paid in measured rations of bread and beer. You walk with the family toward the village center, where the market is buzzing with life, an open space where people gather to trade. It is an explosion of color, of sound, and of smell, woven linens fluttering, voices bartering, roasted fish and fresh bread perfuming the air. A craftsman polishes a copper knife. Nearby, a jeweler displays strings of colored glass, faience, and even tiny bits of gold. There is no money here. All trade is barter. Grain for a new clay jar, for a pair of sandals. Value measured in units of bread or barley. Prices are negotiated, a back and forth as social as it is commercial. The market is the village's information hub. Travelers arrive by boat with tales of Nubia to the south and the Great Sea to the north. One of the most remarkable things was the Nile, a great highway connecting villages within Egypt to the wider world. Routes reached far into Africa, bringing ivory, ebony, animal skins, while other boats sailed the Mediterranean to trade with the Levant and beyond. These simple goods fed a vast network, helping make Egypt wealthy and powerful. You see a priest in clean white linen, perhaps buying incense. A soldier trades for a small amulet to protect him in battle. Mothers haggle at a fish stall. Here, all threads of society cross. The farmer, the craftsman, the priest, the soldier, bound by daily needs and by the flow of goods along the great river. Unlike our wallets of coins and cards, trust and tally bind exchanges here, bread and barley as ledgers of value. A surprising fact, markets also pulsed with official news, messages drifting downriver so locals learned of the Pharaoh's court by word of boat. You step away from the market into a quiet residential lane. The houses are simple and practical, sun-dried mud bricks from the riverbank, flat roofs of palm and mud. Inside they are sparse, woven reed mats to sleep, a low wooden stool, a small chest. Many homes center on an open-air courtyard, the heart of family life. Cooking is done in shade. Women weave linen on simple looms. Children play with clay toys and knuckle bones. The design keeps interiors cool from the relentless sun. A cat sleeps in the corner, loved as a guardian of the home, chasing mice and snakes. Bastet, the cat-headed goddess, watches over households. A surprising fact, to harm a cat was a serious crime. When a cat died, owners shaved their eyebrows in mourning, and some cats were mummified with care. Households are multi-generational. Elders are respected for wisdom. Children are cherished. A mother applies kohl around her child's eyes, reducing sun glare and believed to protect from infection and the evil eye, a small daily ritual of care. Not all children spend days in fields or courtyards. A small group of boys walks to a modest school. One carries a palette with black and red ink, a thin reed brush, and an ostrakhan shard. School was for sons of wealthier families, scribes, priests, officials. Years mastering hundreds of hieroglyphic signs, long hours copying lessons. Discipline was strict. Papyrus, paper-like sheets from Nile reeds, was costly, so students practiced on flat stones and pottery shards called ostraca. Becoming a scribe was worth the hardship, respected record keepers and administrators who kept the state running smoothly. Most children learned at home. Girls managed households, baking bread, brewing beer, weaving cloth. Boys learned their father's trade: farmer, potter, carpenter. Skills passed master to apprentice, geometry and engineering not from books, but from long, patient practice. On a rise stands the local temple, stone built to last for eternity, unlike mud brick homes. This is the house of the local god. Inside, priests wash the statue, clothe it in fine linen, offer food and drink, and burn fragrant incense, chanting hymns to protect their village. The temple owns land, employs people, and distributes food to the poor, both sacred and economic heart. Once or twice a year, festivals transform life. Harvest honored, gods celebrated. Work stops. The deity statue glides in procession through the streets to flutes, harps, and drums. People don finest linen and brightest jewelry. The temple distributes bread, meat, and beer, a joyful release and renewal of shared belief. Medicine blends practical and spiritual, herbs ground to poultices, bones set and bandaged, alongside spells recited to drive away the spirits of illness. Health is more than the body. It is balance, ma'at, kept with right action and right relation to the gods. As the sun sets, orange and purple paint the sky. The heat subsides. The village winds down. Families gather by the riverbank, fires warming their faces. A grandfather tells a wide-eyed child how the river is a mother, giving life, food, and clay, and how the Pharaoh, both king and living god, maintains order. Night falls. Crickets and frogs sing. The Nile laps the shore. Under a vault of brilliant stars, the family sleeps, perhaps on the roof, lulled by the river's rhythm. The next day will be much like this one. The fields need tending, the nets mending, the bread baking. Life moves in a steady, predictable cycle. The reliability of the flood gave security. Surpluses freed hands for craft, priesthood, soldiering, and scribal work. Villages grew into towns, towns into Memphis and Thebes. From small daily acts came great culture, potters to temple builders, field measurers to pyramid geometry, scribes to history itself. The Nile did not just give water, it gave the chance to build one of history's greatest civilizations.